Hey there, I'm Benjamin from Lovestarter. Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to report on landing pages in Google Analytics 4, GA4. I've covered how to report on landing pages back in 2021, but now there's a new metric available, which means reporting on where people land is more accurate. We're going to create an exploration report to understand the pages people are landing on. But before we do, let's take a quick look at the default pages report. To find the default report, we head to Reports. Then Engagement, and then Pages and Screens. This report shows us the pages on our website by page title. We can see each page, and this is ordered by the total number of views, so the total number of page views for each page. It presents pages by their page title, but you can change this by selecting the drop-down and choosing a different dimension. For example, selecting page path and query string will show you pages based on their URL instead of their title. And traveling to the right, we can see additional metrics for each page. We can see the number of users, so individuals viewing each page, the number of new users, and then we can see some engagement metrics. We can see the average number of page views per user. This metric will increase as people view the page multiple times. And we can see the average amount of time people spend viewing the page, and the number of times people have scrolled each page. Then we can see the total number of events that have been collected on each page. This will include the event used to report on the page, plus events when people scroll, other events that are automatically collected by the enhanced measurement feature, and any other events you've implemented. You can also adjust the event count metric to only show you the number of events for a specific event by selecting it from the drop-down. For example, GA4 will automatically track outbound links by default, so we can select the click event to then see the number of times people have clicked an outbound link on each of our pages. If you would like to learn more about events in GA4, including enhanced measurement, then I've included links to my other tutorials in the description below this video. Along with the total number of events, the report also shows the number of conversion events that have been collected on each page, and any revenue that is associated with your pages. If you haven't configured conversions in GA4 yet, then I've also included a link to my dedicated tutorial in the description below this video. So this default report provides a lot of information about our pages. And while it does order your pages by the overall number of page views, this isn't the same as the number of people landing on each of the pages. Now, if you want to understand the first pages people see when they land on your website, you will need to create an exploration report. So let's select Explore. And let's create a blank report. Let's name the report Landing Pages. Now we need to enable the dimensions and metrics we want to use in our report. So let's click the plus sign next to Dimensions. Let's search for Page. Under the Page Screen heading, we can see different dimensions we can use in our report. Let me briefly explain some of the differences here. The page location dimension will show you the full URL of the pages people view. This will include the domain of your website, the page, and any query parameters. Page path and query string will show you the path along with any query parameters, so everything after the domain of your website. Page path and screen class will show you the path, but without any query parameters. And page title will show you the title of the page, like we saw in the default report. For my report, I'm going to select page path and screen class. And then we need to click Import. Now let's select the plus sign next to Metrics. And let's search for Entrances. This is one of the newer metrics in GA4, and if we hover over the name of the metric, we can see the definition. The metric will show us the number of times that the first event recorded for a session occurred on a particular screen. So we can combine this with the dimension we enabled to report on the first pages people see on our website. Let's select this metric. And let's also search for and enable views to show us the total number of page views. And engagement rate. This is a bit like the opposite of bounce rate. And views per user. We saw this metric in the default pages report. Feel free to add additional metrics to your report, but I'm going to add these metrics. Now let's click Import. Next, we need to add the dimension and metrics to our report, so let's drag the page path dimension under Rows and the metrics under Values. We can now see the top landing pages for our website based on the number of entrances for each page. Now I also want to show you how to take this report a step further. We're going to modify it so that it shows us campaigns that are sending people to our website along with the landing pages they view. To do this, let's click the plus sign next to Dimensions again. And let's search for and enable Session Campaign. Now let's drag this dimension under Rows. We can see this includes values that aren't for campaigns, like organic, direct, and referral. So let's remove these from the report. To do this, let's scroll to the bottom of the second column. And let's click to add a filter. Let's select Session Campaign. And let's choose Does Not Match Regex. This is more advanced, but I know you're ready. Now let's enter \, open parenthesis, full stop, asterisk, \, close parenthesis. This will match any campaigns that contain an opening and closing parenthesis with something in between. Now let's click Apply. We've now modified the report to focus on our campaigns and their landing pages. So that's how you can report on landing pages in GA4. Have you checked your top landing pages in GA4? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, please like it so I know to make more videos like this one. I'll see you in the next video.